Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So it's a new month, so you know what that means? It means it's time for a new downfall video. If you guys are new here, don't know what that is, every once in a while we talk about brands, their downfalls, what they could do to be better if there's a chance they can pull themselves up from that downfall. So if you guys want to know what this month's brand is, like you didn't read the title, then let's go. So back in the day, Kat Von D was a tattoo artist, all right? That is how I was introduced to her. She was on a TV show. I think it's called like Tattoo Inc. or something like that. And then a few years ago, I heard someone mention like Kat Von D Beauty, and I was like, oh, she has a beauty brand. I didn't really see that coming, but let me tell you something. When I tell you Kat Von D products used to hit, I mean, those products were hitting, okay? I remember, like, this is before I was a blogger, because I've done both. I was just, you know, a college kid, trying out makeup. Really, that's when I really started like getting into makeup. My friend and I planned a whole day to go to the mall and, you know, scout out this popular shade from Kat Von D Beauty, because that Lolita shade stayed sold out like Victoria's Secret 7 for 35 panties. All right, well, at least how those panties used to sell out, but it stayed sold out everywhere. And we finally did find it. We had to go to a couple Sephora's to find it, but looking back at it, it was probably like weren't the most flattering lipsticks for my shade. But the point is, Kat Von D was popular, okay? And it made sense that it was popular, especially for that time, because it was different. Like, this is back before all the mainstream drugstore, high-end indie brands existed. Before all of the options that we have now, it stood out because it was different. You didn't see stuff like that all the time. Like, let's be honest, makeup is usually advertised very frilly, very cutesy, very pink, hearts, flowers, animals, Too-Faced. And then here comes Kat Von D with like black, goth, cathedrals. Even formula-wise, I feel like you could say she played a role in the rise of matte everything, from her lipsticks to the foundation. And you could also say she played a part in the rise of like full coverage, because, you know, her stuff was thick. Her stuff was full coverage right out of the bottle, and it makes sense because, you know, she was a tattoo artist. Her stuff was meant to give you that type of full coverage that could cover a sleeve of tattoos. And, you know, she didn't just appeal to the, what would you call it, goth, alternative makeup wearers, but she even had the, you know, little cutesy, frilly, warm pumpkin spice sweater wearer makeup wearers fighting over her stuff too. So to look back at all of that and then realize just how rapidly it all declined. And the sad part is most of it is because of Kat. Like with some of the other brands we've talked about, there were creativity issues, you know, product quality, maybe they had messy employees, but a majority of this boils down to just a brand owner who did not know when to be quiet. And it's like, you ever look at people in the public eye who could have life just be so easy, just like chef's kiss, if they just be quiet? And it's almost like they refuse to do that. And you're like, why don't you like having nice things? I don't understand. Kind of similar to the whole Norvina thing, Kat had it's a problem separating being a brand owner from an influencer, using that loosely, but you could still say Kat was pretty interactive for a business owner. She wasn't nobody's group chat, as far as I'm aware, but she was interactive in the way that you knew exactly where to go to find the owner, and once you got there, she posted more personal things compared to what other business owners put on social media. You know, she had her own YouTube channel as well, and she was interactive and a little more open as far as, you know, how she lived or what she liked or what she believed in. And that's when a lot of the problems started. I think the biggest nail in the coffin for Kat Von D were all of the accusations of being anti-Semitic. Now, I don't know, or I don't remember if there was ever a post or something she said specifically that would show she was anti-Semitic, but there was more than one scandal of, you know, past and current partners having some questionable, you know, anti-Semitic posts or things that they've said themselves that were anti-Semitic. And it's like, okay, yeah, she didn't say it, but she's dating people who do, or who show those similar type of like questionable stances. And it's like, okay, well, can you really blame her if she hasn't said anything like that? And for a comparison, you know, like an example of like how you can, it's like, okay, cool, maybe you don't go around, you know, calling black people the N-word and being racist, but if you date someone who does, one can only assume that's because you tolerate it because you don't have a problem with what they're saying. You see what I'm saying? And I feel like that's when people started like dropping her like flies, as far as her products go. Actually, I was wrong. There is one thing I remember that's like specifically tied to her that had people side-eyeing a little bit. She came out with a lipstick and it was called I'm not gonna butcher that type of weird association with the name Lolita. And then she came out with another lipstick that was called Underage Red. Like, I feel like I don't have to explain why Underage Red could be a problem. Naming your product that, and she flat out said, like, I'm not apologizing for that, you know, I'm not changing that. She tried to explain it that it's called Underage Red for some type of like feminism, women empowerment, whatever type thing. But you know, like, most people took the name Underage Red how you would imagine most people take the name Underage Red. And it's like, you know, you've got these little small situations, because these things, they weren't talked about as much as, you know, the other things that, the other controversial things that Kat Von D is known for. But there are a lot of similar little small controversies that you could tie into each other. And it's like, how do you keep having the same like weird little things brought up on some of these very controversial topics, and no one's supposed to like notice or start putting two and two together, you know? There was also a picture that her company, or was it her company posted on Instagram, and it's a picture holding the Lock-It concealer, and you're holding the concealer in front of a cotton field. Now, some people take pictures with cotton. Some people take pictures in front of cotton fields. I mean, like, I know a couple people that you're not gonna find doing that unless, you know, it's like learning their history type thing. But you know, some people do post pictures with cotton and no one says anything. There are no ties, like no one's starting to suspect anything just because you posted a picture with cotton or in front of a cotton field. What became a problem for the brand was the picture and the caption. Let me pull up the caption so I can read it verbatim. Okay, so this was on the brand page, not her page directly, but the caption says, "Let Lock-It concealer do all the hard work for you with instant one coat coverage, strong arm emoji." And the color of the emoji is a deeper complexion. Now, if you need someone to tie it all together for you on how this could be a problem, you know, maybe you're young, from a different country, you don't know about these things. Back in slavery, Black people had to work in cotton fields. So posting a picture of your product in front of a cotton field and then captioning it, "Let our product do the hard work for you instead," and then using an emoji with a deeper complexion. It wasn't the deepest option you can choose when changing emoji colors, but you know, like choosing that one specifically tied in with everything else probably wasn't the best idea. Now you could say, okay, well, maybe it's a coincidence, right? It's a product, they're letting you know it's called Lock-It, although I'm not sure how that would tie in with the whole, you know, doing the hard work, but they're letting you know that their product is going to make it easy for your concealer to lock in. And you know, it's just a coincidence. Well, maybe the employee who posted the picture uses that complexion for their emoji, so that's why they chose that one. You could say all of that, right? But here's the thing, when you're a brand whose owner already has a reputation that's a little iffy on those type of things, that's your job to be on top of stuff like that. Like, that's literally your job as their PR person, you know, when you're working in that department with social media and how you present the brand to the public. That is literally your job, to not let little coincidences slip like that could turn into things that don't look good for your brand. It could have been a coincidence. It could have not been a coincidence. There's something I've come to notice with brands, people in the public eye, and just people in general. To them, it's like well, I'm not racist. I'm not homophobic. I mean, in my opinion, you are if you do it, but just follow along with me here. In their mind, I'm not any of those things. They are just people who kind of like to, you know, tiptoe along the line of being offensive because they think it's like a personality trait. You know, like the type of people who say, oh, laughing at your miscarriage is just edgy humor. You know, like that, especially that term, edgy humor. Like, no, it's just offensive. But those type of people and they're not even like genuinely edgy. They're trying to be edgy by being offensive, and it's just annoying. Like, I don't look at you like you're edgy. I just look at you like you're but those type of people who do those things or say things that, you know, go against what would be the normal thing to say or do. They say things to get a rile out of people, and especially on social media, it happens a lot because like people are chasing that little like on their tweet or something like that. You know, like people are chasing the views by posting a video knowing that people are going to watch it and get annoyed by what you're saying and dislike you, but they're still giving you engagement on your content. Those type of things. Those are the type of, or that idea of that trying to be edgy type of thing. I don't see it, but like it comes into my mind a lot when thinking of Kat Von D. So that's why I'm saying with like the cotton field picture and even like some of the shade names, especially since she already like has that reputation of being a questionable person. A lot of the times when I saw the things, I felt like it was her like tiptoeing around purposely, you know, trying to get under people's skin, especially for like public figures or brands. Like I said, it gets you that attention, that idea that all publicity is good publicity, which it is not, okay? But those type of people believe that as long as the eyes are on you, that's all you need. Like people are still, well, we know like cancel culture, let's not, okay? People are still gonna buy from you, people are still gonna support you, so the more eyes I'm getting, I'll just have to deal a little bit with the backlash, but like nothing's going to happen to me, so it's okay for me to keep doing it. That's the sense I always got when I saw these things going on, because it's like, no way you didn't know that wasn't going to cause a problem. You know, again, like I'm saying with the picture, whether you think it was intentional or not, I just feel like you had to have known better with that. So it's leading me to feel like some of this is intentional, you know? So after all of that, there was like a stagnant moment where it was like the brand was still there and people were still buying it, but it had a pretty bad reputation. And it was kind of like walking on eggshells, talking about it or promoting it within the beauty community. And then after a while, it came back into conversation, but not for good reasons. This time around, it was because Kat herself either posted things or alluded to being anti-vax. I feel like that goes without saying again why that would be yet another controversy for her. And then it was kind of like a domino effect. Like after that, I felt like it was like every few days there was a new post, there was a new this, of people finding things that she or people she's associated with have said or done that again were all very questionable. Like it got to a point where she herself made a video addressing the two biggest claims of, you know, being anti-Semitic and being anti-vax, where she kind of like really didn't address it. But it was too late at that point. Like at that point there was no comeback for Kat Von D the person. So we get to the beginning of this year and we get this like shocking news that Kat Von D has sold her share of the brand to the company that owns the rest of the brand, Kendo Brands, Kendo Beauty, Kendo, okay? She sold her share to Kendo, so she's no longer associated with the brand Kat Von D, right? So people hear this and they're like, oh, because a lot of people don't like Kat Von D. So it's a, oh, okay, kind of happy that she's out of the brand now. But then it's like a, oh, because it's like, well, what happens now? Now you guys know in my downfall videos, we talk about the downfall of the brand, but then we also talk about if it's possible for the brand to make a comeback. And honestly, I did believe, and I kind of still do believe, that Kat Von D Beauty could make a comeback. But Kat Von D Beauty, like I'm looking at you. What are you doing? Okay, we need to have a chat. Sit down. So Kat sells her share and everyone's just kind of like waiting to see what happens next with the brand. And it's like the first thing you probably should have done was change the name of the brand. And they did. But you know what they changed it to? They changed it to KVD Vegan Beauty. And it's like, okay, you changed it a little bit. This is kind of like that, let me copy your homework. Okay, cool, but just change the answers a little bit. Like you still have that association to Kat Von D. And it's like, here's how that association hurts them in a way, because like here we are 10 something months later since the announcement that she's no longer a part of the company, and there are still plenty of people who do not know that she's no longer associated with the brand. Like I remember tweeting maybe a month or two ago, like, hey, would you be down to trying, you know, KVD vegan beauty products now, and a whole bunch of people were like, the one with the owner who does this, that, and the third, and like they still didn't know that she's not part of the company anymore. So it's like, you might have wanted to like fully change the name, but they did try to defend themselves on the name change and what the name means. But it's comical. I'm gonna read it to you, and you'll realize like why it probably would have just been a whole lot simpler to just change the name. But so people obviously started saying things about the name KVD Vegan Beauty, and like you're supposed to read it as KVD Vegan Beauty. But obviously, because a lot of people know them as Kat Von D, you read it as Kat Von D Vegan Beauty, right? So they say, the KVD in our new name, KVD Vegan Beauty, stands for our ethos and new manifesto. The brand posted to its Instagram account. It does not is in all caps, stand for a person's initials. We believe in kindness, vegan beauty, discovery, and doing good. So the brand's new name is Kindness, Vegan Beauty, Discovery, Vegan Beauty. Kindness, vegan beauty, discovery, vegan, kind, discovery, doing good, vegan, beauty, kind, kindness. However, to be fair, we all know we like being fair, we like looking at both sides over here on this channel. It would cost them a lot of money to completely rebrand. Like a lot of money to completely rebrand. Because think about it, they would have to pull all of the products that they have out now, right? Because they all say Kat Von D Beauty or KVD Vegan Beauty, which is weird because they still have some products that you can buy where it's gonna say like Kat Von D Beauty or whatever. And it's like, so if they were to contact, Kat Von D is in Sephora, it's in Ulta now, they've got it at TJ Maxx, probably Marshalls. They would have to contact all of those people and pull all of those products off of those shelves, right? So now that's impacting their store numbers. They would have to pull all of the products off of their own website. Like that's like direct numbers that we're hitting. Then they would have to spend money on repackaging the same product if they want to keep and continue on with the same, liquid lipsticks, the Lock-It concealer. They would have to spend the money to repackage those with the new brand name while also coming up with new products that the brand intends to put out. That's a lot of money, all right? That's a lot of money. And especially like right now with the pandemic and everything that's going on, it's already hitting businesses hard, because people aren't going in to, these stores like Sephora to swatch and stuff like that. So it's already hitting them like that. And you could look at it like, okay, but like they're a $1 million company. Yes, they are. But again, because of everything that's happened in the last few years with the previous owner that they had, yeah, they're still making money, like they're still eating, but they're not making money like they were a couple of years ago before all this stuff happened. Like when Lolita was selling out back to back, like they're not making that type of money to be able to afford to do that type of whole rebranding type thing. So I think I would hope, like what we're shooting for down the line is some type of rebrand that steps even further away from the Kat Von D association. And another reason while we're here why they would still kind of want a tie to Kat Von D is, don't get it twisted, even though there are a lot of people who dislike her, again, this whole like no one's ever really canceled. Like she still has to this day supporters, okay? She hasn't posted on YouTube in like probably a year, but if she posted right now, she could still easily get, like 20,000 views in the first hour, especially since she hasn't posted in so long. She's gonna bring in views if she chose to post right now. She still has a following on Instagram. There are people who still like her, so they don't want to like fully dissolve that tie with her because she still does have people who like her and she still does have people who want to use the brand's product and stuff like that. And it's like a name recognition type of thing where it's like if they created a whole new name, the people who are like fully invested into the beauty community and makeup and stuff like that, we're going to know they used to be Kat Von D Beauty. But the regular normal, well, not normal, but average makeup consumer, they go into a store and see that they've changed their name to looking around, Powder Beauty, they probably won't know about that association. They won't know about that association in cat. So they might be a little, you know, about trying a new brand that they've never heard anything about. You know what I'm saying? My computer disconnected from my camera, so I had to get up and fix that. So I completely forgot what I was talking about, but I keep seeing Powder Beauty in my mind. So, okay. We're just gonna move on. Those are some of the reasons why they would still want to be associated with Kat Von D, but I feel like they can't truly have the comeback that they could have, because like I said, I do feel, or I did, but kind of do still feel like they could have a comeback. But what I think will happen if they keep with just the KVD vegan beauty is that, you know, as time goes on, people will not forgive, but forget the whole Kat Von D association. You know, as time goes on, more and more people will probably know she's not associated with it anymore, but it'll just become, you know, one of those brands that's just there. You know, it's there. You don't hate it. You don't love it. You know, if you see something that you like, you might try it out, but they won't be that brand that's as talked about as they once were, right? So in a perfect world where KVD had the budgeting and everything that they need to like fully rebrand, do I think that they could make a comeback? I honestly believe that they could make a comeback to be a brand that was as talked about as much as they were 6 years ago, somewhere around there. I truly do believe that. If they were just able to, you know, like change the name and all that stuff, I truly do believe that, because like I said, the problem wasn't really like Kat Von D products. You know, Kendo brands usually don't have, you know, a problem as far as reputation goes with their products. Like, their products are usually quality type things. Like I said, because of the branding, the imagery that the brand uses, they appeal to a different type of makeup wearer, but also, you know, the copper eye, nude lip wearers liked the brand as well. And it's like, I highly doubt, you know, like she was the only person coming up with all of these ideas. Like, I'm sure there were other people on the team, and I'm sure there are other people out there that you could hire to keep the same type of imagery that the brand has. You know, you could still do the cathedrals and the just, you know, it's very artsy. It's not just like dark goth alternative whatever. It was also like, you know, artsy. It was a little more colorful. It was stuff, you know, they could still be that type of brand, just under a different name. So I feel like if they were able to do that, they could be a brand that you see talked about a whole lot more, especially now. Like, I kind of feel like Melt is kind of becoming what Kat Von D like used to be. You know, that brand where the palettes, they show what the palette's going to be, and then you open it up and you're like, oh, I'm getting that type of thing. Like, the type of imagery that Melt uses, I feel like it's kind of similar to like what Kat Von D's beauty used to be. Kat Von D, it was a little bit more black than Melt, like the coloring, than Melt Cosmetics. But like, I feel like that's kind of taking Kat Von D's place in like this time frame type of thing, right? But I feel like if they did do that, then they could, because like I said, it wasn't really a product problem that they had. But honestly, I feel like we'll just have to wait and see what happens with the brand. I know their stuff does go on sale a lot, especially at Sephora, so maybe they are trying to, you know, just rapidly get all their stuff off the shelves so that they can, you know, bring in something new. Maybe like fully rebranding is on the vision board later on down the line, but we really will just have to wait and see what happens. But let me know in the comments down below, like, where you stand right now on KVD vegan beauty products. Like, are you going to try them? Are you going to wait a little bit and see? Have you been trying them? Are you like fully turned off? You don't want any parts with it at all? Let me know all of that in the comments down below. And yeah, that is pretty much it for this video. Make sure to thumbs up, comment, subscribe down below, turn on notification bells, all of that down below. Thank you all for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye.